Alright, so this is a video I'm very excited and happy to be sharing with you right now, especially if you're someone who's interested in or fascinated by or is heavily researching the above keywords and subjects which I've listed in the title. What I'm going to say is going to be particularly relevant and potentially even very transformational for you as well. So basically what I'm going to do in this video is a few things. First, share some crucial and really important and timely information about these ideas, share what I really think about them, and then talk about and explore how we can actually and truly make positive use of the information and actually make change in the world. So the first and one of the foundational points that we need to lay out as we begin this conversation is that there's only so much time in the day. We only have a certain amount of energy and intention and attention in a given day. So that we need to ask ourselves, where are we spending our time and energy? What are we focusing on? What are we growing and expanding? And as it pertains to these various ideas and subjects which we've listed in the title, what can we really say about it? What do I really feel about it? And to really sum this up easily, we just need to look to Star Wars, no less, specifically Return of the Jedi, specifically even more, the scene where Admiral Akbar proclaims, "It's a trap." And if you don't know what I mean, just type in "It's a Trap" on YouTube and you'll see that clip and you'll know exactly what I mean. So to use the wisdom of Admiral Akbar to really explain this, what do I mean and why do I say that it's a trap? Well, there's a few reasons why. Number one is that it's really easy and convenient to really seek really simple and black and white explanations for things being the way that they are or things happening the way that they happen. Yet this is also very kind of intellectually lazy and complacent and is usually motivated by a lot of fear or paranoia and insecurity. And generally, things in life, things in this reality are not really ever so cut and dry and so simple or black and white. Second is, there's an aspect in our mind, a psychological principle we can say, called what the thinker thinks, the prover proves. So we have an aspect of our brain which thinks different things, and then another aspect of our brain immediately goes to work finding evidence to prove those things. But because we're pretty much have free reign to think whatever we want, our brain also has free reign to really prove a lot of different ideas. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're true or workable or valid or effective or actually can deliver any sort of results which are actually valuable, meaningful, or useful. The third point is that the map is not the territory, meaning the words and the symbols that we use to describe things are just that. They're just symbols and they're just descriptions. They're not the actual thing. And oftentimes, most of the time what happens is we confuse the two. We think our story is the actual thing when in reality it's just our story of the thing, and the thing is actually far bigger, far more profound, far more complex and intricate than our conscious, symbolic, linguistic, linear mind can really conceive of. And rather than accepting that fact, it's a lot easier to say, well, it's because the bad guys did it. That's why things are the way that they are. Or it's because this new age is going to happen, or the aliens are going to come back, or some sort of strange, outlandish things to just explain away the obvious fact of reality, which I've just outlined. So again, just to bring it back up and reiterate, there's only so much time in the day. So we have to ask ourselves, where are we spending our time and energy? Are we spending it feeding paranoia and fear and things which are very ungrounded and generally never really happen? So really the main point that I want to make is that it's much more valuable and helpful and useful to spend time actually working on yourself and becoming the best version of yourself that you can be. So becoming socially adept and flexible, becoming intellectually fluid and flexible, being able to understand a wide variety of ideas, understand how and why people see things the way that they do, and be able to step in the shoes of other people. And then on top of that, becoming financially independent and financially stable. Because you can have all of the knowledge in the world, you can believe in all of the craziest, coolest stuff in the world, but if you're socially awkward, if you can't communicate, if no one can understand you, if people think that you're weird, if you're broke, if you have no money, if you have no resources, you have no real abundance, how can you actually do anything? You really can't. And what ends up happening is we become this skeleton of a person who just sits around on Facebook and posts clips from videos all day and talks about how things are going to change then and things are going to change then, and this person's doing this and this person's doing that. And really, they're just pointing out the fact that there's a real deficiency in the actual person, and it's really creating a lot of fear, anxiety, paranoia, complacency, etc. And what I want to ask is, how does doing any of that really contribute? How does isolating yourself and making yourself seem weird to other people, making other people seem really weird to you, how does that really create anything or help anyone? But it's so easy to just give in to paranoia and fear and complacency and apathy and say, oh, well, it's not worth doing anything because it's just the Illuminati, or there's just the world's going to end in 2012, or I don't have to worry about anything because Jesus is going to come back, or the aliens are going to come back, or there's going to be a new age or a new shift. In reality, that's not actually going to happen, because at the end of the day, all you have is your life, your energy, and how you're spending it on a daily, regular basis. You were born, and you're going to die. No conspiracy theory, no New Age prophecy is going to change that. So in the end, if we really want to actually do something, be something, have something, create something, make change in the world, we have to start with ourselves. We have to actually turn off all of the noise, turn off all of the garbage, unplug and come back into the real world and realize, oh wait, I need to become, socially flexible and adept to be able to interrelate with people, because life is based on relationships. I need to become intellectually fluid and flexible and not be stuck in this paranoid worldview or this tripped out new agey worldview. I need to be able to understand where lots of other people are coming from, because life is about relation and communication and being able to relate to other people. And also, most importantly, we need to become financially independent and stable, because if we're broke, if we're tripped out, if we're isolated, if we're ungrounded, if we are kind of unable to communicate with other people, we really can't create any change in the world. We really can't do anything of real value. So we can really sum it up in the end and tie it all together in that simple as this: we can keep on feeding fear and paranoia and complacency and sit alone by ourselves in our room and watch things that really usually just make us feel more paranoid and isolated, or we can turn that off, actually take responsibility for our lives, take responsibility for who we are, take responsibility for the state of the world, and quit blaming everyone else around us, and actually take the time to work on ourselves, to do something, to be something, to become something, become the best version of ourselves that we can be. So hopefully that really explains my general ideas as far as all of these different thoughts, and hopefully you remember now there's only so much time in your day, there's so much time that you have in this life, and what are you spending it on? What are you spending it doing? Becoming more isolated and fearful and paranoia, or actually growing and expanding and helping yourself and helping people around you as best that you can? So if you have any questions or comments, post them below, and I'll talk to you soon.